Sadhana, Maharaj Kar here to explain your sadhana. So first thing I want you to know, sadhana means victory. Sadhana it means personal meditation practice. It's that thing we do by ourselves. We might do it, we do meditations in a group and we do other things, but sadhana is that thing, that meditation we do, the song to the soul by ourselves. And its translation is, it brings a victory. And sometimes, it can be hard to get really into your sadhana, to do on your own. So we want to give you lots of options on how you're going to do that. But what I want you to know is when you can master doing your sadhana by yourself, it adds so much to your life, to the practice you do in Kundalini with others, and to the world around you. It's amazing. So it's like a prayer with legs because it's physical. It's not just thinking, right? It's not just breathing. It's mantra, it's breath work, it's stillness, it's everything all together. And it's your opportunity to connect deeply to your soul, the guru inside of you. And that guru inside of you is what is going to connect you to and align you to the divine will, align with the divine. There is only one way to know God. There's only one way to know the divine, and that is to know yourself, to know your own soul, to make the effort. What I want you to know is, like anybody else, I think that it was hard for me to get on board. I mean, when I first started doing this, I still work for the state of California, and I had to be on the train at 6:45. So I was having to wake up early, right? And do this before I went. And it was not easy, but I did it. And when I couldn't do it, sometimes I'm so tired, teenagers and husband and working, then I would do it at lunchtime. That was my other time that I could do. If you work for somebody, maybe there's somewhere you can kind of steal away and do it. The other time that is a good time to do it is when you first get home. If you are an 8 to 5er or that 8, 9, 10 hour day, one of the best things to do if you didn't get to it in the morning is when you walk in, hi family, love you, and go into your bedroom and do it right then. Just do it right then. And it'll set you up for a better evening with your family. The reason we suggest that you do it first thing in the morning is because would you go to work without taking the shower or brushing your teeth? So this is like taking a spiritual shower. It makes us right. What happens in sadhana and Kundalini is awesome or ordinary, but that's not the end game. We do that so that the other 23 hours are amazing. So sadhana sets us up for what? A victory in our life. So what is our sadhana? Well, we're gonna do a mini version of the Maharaj flow. If you have time, do the whole thing because the body is a temple and the body is intelligent. Just so you know, our minds up until about 30 to 35 is harnessing and remembering and storing everything that goes on in our life. There comes a point through all the trauma and everything that goes on where we start putting it in our body. That's why we have those cravings and those impulses, because now the memory of our life is in the body temple. So we want to move the body and access the body so that we can heal the body temple because it's holding so much tension and so much memory and so much trauma. And the two things that we're going to do in this Kriya are going to heal us so much. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chant the Mul Mantra. So the idea is to do the Maharaj flow in 11 minutes of Mul Mantra or recite it 11 times. So I'm going to give you some options here, right? Because if you don't have time, I want you to have a backup. Like, here's what I could do if I have absolutely no time. The one thing you don't want to do is just not do it. Even if you're sick and you're laying there, chanting your little mantra and doing only a couple rounds of Sudarshan Chakra Kriya, it's still worth doing. So we're going to chant the Mul Mantra. The Mole Mantra is the beginning of what is called the Japji. The Japji is the song of the soul. It's the first thing that came through from Guru Nanak. And really, that's the only thing in Kundalini Yoga that we use. There is what is called the Grand Sahib, which is huge. It's like this thick, and it comes from not only Nanak, but the other 9 gurus, and there's so many prayers and so much wisdom in that. But it's the first thing that we hang on to, because what it is this most powerful ladder and all of the energetics we need to ascend, to enlighten in this lifetime. And it all starts with the very first thing. So here's what the Japji is. It's the Mole Mantra, and then 38 purtis is what they call them. And the last thing is the slok. It's like the ending. It puts it all together. The Mole Mantra is about removing our fate. It's about taking the karma out of the way so that we can feel and start moving into our soul's destiny. I want to read a little bit about what it says. The Mole Mantra is the foundation of the spiritual path in Kundalini. It is the wisdom that is contained in the entire Grand Sahib, and it is wrapped up into this one small set of prayers. And the first prayer is the Mole Mantra. The Mole Mantra is interesting to note that the only place the Mole Mantra appears is in the very beginning of this entire lineage of greatness. The Mole Mantra is a precious, precious teaching in that it's so potent, it's so precise. It holds these keys: Ek Onkar, Sat Nam, Karta Purik, Nirbo, Nirver, Akal, Murik, Ajuni, Sabhang, Guru Prasad, Jap. Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Habi Sach, Nanak Hosi Be Sach. It's only 26 words, and it paints a vision of the characteristics, the forms, and the aspects of one God. It brings in all of the energy that we need to transcend our fate. It is said, like, even if you're a scoundrel and you chant this mantra, that darker part of us, and we become scoundrels, scoundrels because of our childhood and our karma from a previous life. And that's why you have come to this technology. This is being given to you so you can uplift yourself, empower yourself right out of this. Today, we may not think that the divine proclamation of Guru Nanak is revolutionary, yet at the time it was the first uttered words in such a radical form. The words of the Mole Mantra gave birth to a spiritual nation and changed the course of history. The Mole Mantra is short and simple, but it could be difficult to understand for the heart, and that's why we chant it. And we let the wisdom of it transcend our mind, marinate our cells, permeate our aura so that we are vibing with this amazing nectar of the Mole Mantra. The Mole Mantra means, I think I have it right here. Yes, I do. Okay, the exact words mean, so we're going to say Ek Onkar Sat Nam, which means one universal creator God. That name is truth. Karta Purik Nirbo Nirver. This created being personified has no fear and no hatred. Akal Murat Ajuni Sabhang, the image of the undying, beyond birth and self-existence. Guru Prasad Jat. Guru Prasad means the Guru's grace. It is the gift. So Gu means darkness, challenge, the stuff of life. Ru means light. It is the light of your soul that comes into your existence as you're chanting this, illuminating what you need to take care of, where you need to heal. And by the Guru's grace, your soul and the one, when we come into that alignment, that is what lifts us up into a different elevation of our life. And And so then it says jop, which means chant and meditate, and then keep doing it. Chant and meditate, keep doing it. Over time, the vibration, you may not hear at first, like when you start doing a lot of these mantras, your mind, the vibration, like the tone of you becomes a higher octave. Over time, you'll actually hear your mind going Satanam, Satanam, Satanama, Ekonkar, Satanam, Kartapura. But in the beginning, you may not hear that in the subconscious, it's chanting that, but you can hear, feel, and know that the vibe is changing. It's like, whoo, I'm not worrying as much. I'm not as caught up in, the old programs I've always had. So that is what we're doing. That's why we chant it. And then it ends with Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Habi Sach, Nanak Hosi Be Sach, which means it's always been true. True in the beginning. So since the Mother, Father, God sent that first thought of our existence, it was true then. It is true in the future. And it is true even now, ever shall it be. What is true? The truth is that love and light prevails. That love and light illuminates the darkness. The darkness doesn't need to go anywhere. There always is going to be shadow. There's always going to be the darkness. But the light of these mantras bring us to so we can understand and better care for our shadow. And then we can also be more understanding and uplifting to those that are caught up in their fear and kind of stuck. So that's the Mool Mantra. So we do some warm-ups, we do the mantra, and then the last thing we're going to do is the Sudarshan Chakra Kriya, which is very, very powerful. So I want to guide you through it. There is no chanting, but you're going to be listening to a mantra, which is the ecstasy of God's wisdom and light. That's what Wahe Guru means. Wahe Guru, the ecstasy of knowing God's love and wisdom, right? Like sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I'm kind of lost. But sometimes when I align, it's like, it's intoxicating. It's pure bliss, okay? Wahe Guru. So the chant is going to be playing, and it's going to be Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, 16 times. And we're going to pump the navel with that Wahe Guru. And we're going to pump it 3 times per Wahe Guru. So if this was my navel, my belly button, it would be Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru. So I'm going to go Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru. All right, so the Ru brings my navel out. Now, it doesn't have to be super like, right? It should be subtle. Subtlety is really important. In the teacher training, when we get into bandhas and breath work, subtlety is actually the key to power. So that's the key to this kriya. This kriya is one of the most so in Kundalini, there is 5 kriyas at the very top, okay? Sudarshan Chakra Kriya is the crowning one. There's Kirtan Kriya, there's Sat Kriya, there is Trishula Kriya, and there is Kirtan Kriya. And the long chant. So there's Sudarshan Chakra Kriya, the long Ekonkar, Kirtan Kriya, Trishula Kriya, and Sat Kriya. Those are the 5, but the crowning jewel is Sudarshan Chakra Kriya. So I want to read a little bit about this to you. This is one of the greatest meditations you can practice. It gives considerable transformational powers. The personal identity of you is rebuilt during this Kriya, giving an individual a new perspective of self. It retrains your mind. Hallelujah, right? According to the Tantric Shastras, it purifies our past karma and it cleanses the subconscious. There's so much, and it's going to be in your manual. So yeah, those of you that are doing the teacher training, you'll see it in your manual and all that good stuff. The biggest thing is it clears out the phobias of childhood. It clears out so when we are abused, and sometimes we're just downright abused and the trauma's there, it's like obvious. But oftentimes things go on. Like I have 4 brothers and a sister, and we all perceived our childhood different, right? So for one person is super hard, it might not be for another person. So what it does is it addresses the phobias that were created. And here's how it goes. So like, you've been here many lifetimes. You came in this lifetime already knowing, all right, I've been doing pretty good. I've had some little hiccups on the lifetime before. So we set up this lifetime so that we address exactly where we left off. So we pick a mom and daddy that is going to fuck us up just right so that we can move into our own healing. Even the best mom and pops make mistakes. And then we all know there's a lot more parental that's really not so good. And things that happen in our childhood. And all that piles up. And the way we perceive it gives us these tics, like if a lot went down with mom, you may be really afraid of women. You may be unable to trust the feminine energy. I haven't, what's interesting to me is that even though like my real dad did not claim my paternity, so he just abandoned us. My mom got married and he adopted me, which I feel is so nice. Like he already had 4 kids and yet he adopted me. But then I was abused by him in not so good ways. However, I have 4 brothers. My point is, I've always still done pretty good with men. I do have some weird things where I kind of go like still and like I don't say what I need to say. But my beef was more with my mom because that's how I spun it. And there's truth to it, but there's so much more in the story. But my perception was, why weren't you there for me, Mom? How come you didn't stop him? How come you didn't stick up for me? So mine is more about that. And then there's all kinds of other stuff that happens with your siblings, things that happen with school, your first boss, it's like all these little traumas get embedded in you. And most of them it wasn't that like your soul said, hey, I want that to happen exactly, but it was like, I need this kind of an energetic, I need this kind of abandonment, I need this kind of manipulation, I need this kind of mistrust so that I can reenact it and find my way to a spiritual path like this, or if you have others, that is going to help me climb my way out of this trauma so that I can heal and be the most amazing human being possible. So here is how you do Sudarshan Chakra Kriya. You're going to take your left hand and you're going to put it in Gyan Mudra, pretty precise. This is very precise. And you're just going to lay it on your knee. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to block off the right nostril. You're going to inhale through the left. At the top of the breath, you're going to suspend the breath. Go ahead and drop your hand. You're going to look at the tip of your nose and you're going to hear the chant. Wa he guru wa. And in that, you're going to go wa he guru, wa he guru, wa he guru. You're going to be pumping the navel 3 times per each wa he guru, which is 16. So you're going to do that. Wa he guru, wa. And you're looking at the tip of your nose. Then you're going to take your hand, block off the left side, exhale, inhale, and do it again. Wa he guru. You're not saying it, it's mentally chanting in your mind, you're hearing it, and your navel is wa he guru, wa he guru, wa he guru. And you just go over and over and over. When you listen to the music, it has sort of like it cues you in that after the 16 pumps, the music kind of goes down, and that's the exhale. And then it goes up, that's the inhale, and then we begin again. It's not easy. It's a long hold. That suspension in the breath First of all the navel pumping is cleansing and empowering the bottom chakras. The first chakra of safety and security, the second chakra of sexuality and anger and creativity, and the third chakra of your divine will. So all of that is getting activated. In that suspension of breath, you are dispensing. So we inhale big and we're suspending the breath and we're doing the navel pump. And in that, it is dispensing the prana in a very big way throughout your entire body and all of your cells, moving through the chakras, landing in the crown and activating the pituitary and the pineal. That glandular system is going to start activating. And it's going to start releasing the oxytocin, which is going to help you relax and fall in love a little bit. And the serotonin, and it's going to make you a little happy. There will be, when you're not used to that kind of breath work and that kind of hold, a little bit of panic. Don't freak yourself out. If you cannot make it through the 16 pumps, I'm sorry, it's actually 46, 48, because it's 16 times 3. Anyway, if you can't make it through, just take a little breath. Just take a little breath. Just save yourself there. The first, we do that for 11 minutes. The first 3 to 4 minutes is just adjusting. It takes some time to get in it. But once you're there, you'll get better and better at it. And this meditation is going to heal you. Whatever big is going on in your life, the Sudarshan Chakra Kriya is going to go at it. And then we're already meditating in the Mul Mantra, right? So that's going to help us be, clearing karma and ridding our fate and stepping up into our greatness. I look forward to meditating with you for the next 40 days. This is your 40-day sadhana. This is a gift to you. There will come a day that you wake up in the morning and you're like, I gotta go do sadhana. It's like a date. It's like a date with destiny. It's a date with love. It's a date with God. And it is the most sacred and beautiful thing that you can do in your life. I love you. Let's practice. I'm gonna make another video for that part. So there's no talking in the other. We're just gonna go into it. Sadhana.